joining us now, and we're certainly very, very happy to have him on. It came in very short notice. Mayor of Columbia, South Carolina, Steve Benjamin, one of the national supporters of Mayor Bloomberg. Hey, Mayor Benjamin, thanks for being with us today.
Well, thank you so much for having me, John.
And sorry for the wait, Justin Fairfax. We didn't want to cut him off. He was on a roll, Virginia's lieutenant governor. So bear with us on that. Mayor Benjamin, I was saying this when I got on the air. I never saw an avalanche of endorsements in 12 hours like I saw coming from Biden. I must have got 150 emails in 10 hours. They were coming like 6 an hour, with everybody now falling in line. The guy won one primary. And then on Sunday, you got pundits. I don't know who pays these people. I'm so much better. You get pundits saying, well, Bloomberg should drop out of the race. Bloomberg hasn't been on the ballot until today. What is going on, Mayor Benjamin?
Well, Mike's never been part of the establishment. I mean, that's clear. I mean, the reality is that this has played out exactly the way that we expected to. All the candidates, a diminishing field, have had the opportunity to take their message to the voters, and everyone's had a shot yet. You're right. Today is Mike's first opportunity. Every one of the first 4 contests had a different result. Okay, so to say this field is settled, I think is a bit of an overstatement. Mm-hmm. You know, we're gonna play our strategy out today. The reality is that the later states this month and in April are the places where we've always been strongest, and we're gonna continue taking our message to the people. We believe that it's clear that this is still Mike's race to win. We think he can defeat Donald Trump. You know, we're going to execute our plan and keep moving forward. But yeah, I agree. I think a whole lot of calls for someone else to drop out when we haven't even had a shot at the ballot yet, have the respect of asking people for their votes is definitely premature.
What about the fact that they got Mayor Pete to drop out? So I turned the TV on before church on Sunday. I turned the TV, I get some talk show, I forget who, with Face the Nation. Somebody you got Mayor Pete on TV, and I guess maybe that was taped on Friday or Saturday. And you got him on TV saying, "Look, we can do math. You know, I've got a master's degree. I can do the math. Math says I'm still in the race." And then the day after that, he drops out. Then you got Amy Klobuchar plans this big rally in Minnesota. She's got to win that. Last poll comes out. She's tied with Bernie Sanders in her home state. She plans this big rally. I get emails from her. She drops out. They both back Biden. What was up with that?
I wish I could tell you, John. I don't know. I just know that we've shown time and time again, and we're the only candidate that has the resources, the experience, and the skills to defeat President Trump. I mean, particularly you think about the where America is today. I'm not talking about post-South Carolina. I'm talking about, in the middle of this coronavirus crisis. People want a steady leader. They want someone who's executed, who can show how they manage through not just hurricanes and storms, but through swine flu and bird flu. Mike has shown that he has the ability, both in the private sector, public sector, and certainly as one of the greatest philanthropists of our time, to lead in difficult times. I think that's also going to influence the vote today on Super Tuesday. And of course, as this crisis, we're going to say prayed up, but as it plays itself out, I think Mike's profile as a steady leader is also an asset. But I wish I could tell you exactly what Pete and Amy are thinking. God bless them. Good runs. Pete actually did pretty doggone well the first 2 contests, so I'm not sure what went into his calculus there.
Well, the fix is in. I mean, they're all trying to steal it from Bernie again. I mean, Mayor Bloomberg has been very clear. He doesn't think Bernie would be a good candidate or a good president. He's blasted him on a bunch of things. No question about that. But now they're saying, okay, Bloomberg is in the middle lane, and the Democratic establishment wants it to be Biden-Sanders. How do you respond to that, Mayor Steve Benjamin?
Well, it'd be nice if the Democratic establishment could pick our presidents. It's up to the voters of America. This is the greatest democratic nation in the history of the world. Mm-hmm. And you give people the respect of asking for their votes. You go out and you work for their votes. Mike's built, I think, the most significant primary election and general election campaign, maybe since 1960 and John F. Kennedy ran. So we answer to the people of America, not to the political establishment. We're going to go out and ask for their votes, and we'll listen to the voters. And the reality is that the later contests in Florida, and New York, and other states in the Northeast, we expect those will inure even more greatly to our benefit. We'll compete well today, and we'll get some delegates today, with no doubt about that. But we feel good about where we are. We're just going to keep on pushing, man. Keep on pushing.
Is there a particular result today that you have to get in order to defend? I mean, you've spent a tremendous amount of money. Everybody knows that. Mike Bloomberg self-funding this campaign. Is there a touch point? Is there a result that you have to get in order to justify to the naysayers that say you're going to help elect Bernie or help give Bernie the nomination? Is there a bar you have to get over in order to justify continuing?
Yeah, it's weird when you sit there and you do the math. I'm sure Pete talked about it too. The reality is that both having Biden and Bloomberg and even Warren on the ticket actually helps Bernie from running away with the delegate lead. So it's odd when you do the math. But the reality is that we've always played the long game. Mike had to spend a lot of money just to get his name ID up. We've been in this thing for 3 months. We haven't been running for a year and a half, or even like with Senator Sanders for the last 5-6 years here. So he needed to make sure people knew who he was, and it hasn't been all been advertised. And as you mentioned on the way in, John, he's been building up the muscle mass on the ground in places where presidential candidates have never gone to make sure people know exactly who he is. But we've always planned for the campaign to start today. We built infrastructure in Florida and Michigan and Arizona later on, in New York and Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, where we expect this to continue to play out. But I think the reality is that four states have voted so far. Only 4% of the vote today is significant. We have a third of the vote. That means still 2/3 of the voters hadn't even talked yet, haven't had a chance to have the voice heard. We want to hear them.
Mayor Steve Benjamin with us. Steve Benjamin, one of the key national coordinators, national chairs of the Bloomberg for President campaign. He's mayor of Columbia, South Carolina, of which Mayor Bloomberg did not participate in that race. Mayor of Columbia, South Carolina, Steve Benjamin with us, also one of the national chairpersons for the Bloomberg for President campaign. So, Mayor Benjamin, let me just ask you this straight out, right? If you're voting today and you still haven't voted, we still have people calling in saying they haven't made their minds up. We had somebody call the Bernie and said, I'm driving there now. I'll decide when I see the ballot. I mean, that's how many people are still in flux over what's happening. So, look, if you're going to vote for Bernie Sanders, you're not going to vote for Bloomberg, okay? It's just not going to happen. They're on opposite ends. So if you're voting for Sanders, you're voting for Sanders. But if you're undecided between Bloomberg and Biden, which is really what the battle here comes down to, why should people vote for Bloomberg and not Biden?
I appreciate that question. I would ask people to look at Mike's record. I mean, you're talking about self-made businessman, worked his way through college, worked his way through business school, lost his father early, who never made more than $6,000 a year. He's built a global enterprise through his hard work and ingenuity, great people working with him, 20,000 people employed around the world. He left his company in the wake of 9/11 to go and serve the city he loves. New York City, the most complex city in the world, $2 trillion gross metropolitan product, an economy larger than the country of Russia, and every country in the world save 9 of them. Led it well for 12 years, created 500,000 new jobs, 175,000 units of affordable housing. He led the city well, inherited the city with a $5 billion deficit, left it with a $5 billion surplus. After leaving his company, he decided he'd become one of the greatest philanthropists of our times. He takes on tough issues, ending gun violence in our communities, helping with climate change and shutting down 300 coal-fired power plants, and taking on even issues like big tobacco and stopping this vaping epidemic facing our youth. This guy has proven himself not only as a business person, as a public servant, but also as a philanthropist. We've gotten that in different folks on both sides of the aisle over the course of our lifetimes, but really have gotten all 3 of those wrapped into one. That's Mike Bloomberg. He's a guy who believes in getting things done. He believes in data. He believes in science. He believes in service. And he believes in the greatness of this country. He believes in capitalism. but he believes in building an economy that works for all people. And that's what you get with this guy. Yeah, he is as advertised. And I've enjoyed serving as a national co-chair for him and look forward to riding this all the way through to November when he takes on President Trump.
Why is he a better choice to take on President Trump, in your view, than Joe Biden? Because look, Mayor Benjamin, this is really what now the choice is today, right? If you don't want Sanders, you got two choices, Bloomberg or Biden. Why is Bloomberg a better choice taking on Trump than Biden? Biden was vice president. Biden's got all the establishment behind him. He's got everybody now falling all the congressmen, senators, governors are falling all over even Beto O'Rourke yesterday. Remember him, the guy that put his cleaning for the dentist on video or something? A completely ridiculous candidate. Even he's for Biden, right? Why are you guys a better choice for Democrats? I mean, look, if there was, let me just say this as an aside, like sidebar. If there was ever a reason to vote for Bloomberg today, it's because Beto came out for Biden. Oh my God! When I saw that, I'm like, okay, this is got to be the coup de grace of all time. I mean, did Joe probably thought there and said, okay, Beto's coming out for me. It's over. I don't even have to campaign now. I got Beto down in South Texas, El Paso. Why even vote? Race is over, right?
I do believe that that executive experience matters. I mean, I say that with all sincerity. I'm a former president of the U.S. Conference of Mayors. I've run the city for the last 10 years. Having to make the ultimate decision is so important. Mike has not only shown the ability to do that in both the public and private sector and philanthropic sector. But he's also shown the focus in this race of scaling up and building a truly national operation that can go the distance. We focused on the battleground states, only one of them, I guess, North Carolina votes today, with existing solid organizations, the same places the president's been focusing, actually, same 6 states, making sure we build an organization that will be there at the end of this campaign. So, I'm a big believer. I do believe that executive experience matters. It's different being a lifetime legislator, trying to build consensus, maybe passing bills and never passing bills like some folks who are running for president right now. But Mike's actually had to get things done, and I think that's what America needs right now. Someone who can actually make tough decisions in tough times, help continue to see our economy do well. I doubt there's anyone who's ever run for president who understands our financial systems better than Mike Bloomberg. Yeah. I think that's what we need right now. That's what America needs right now.
Well, Mayor Benjamin, you know my background. I was Trump chairman of Virginia in 2016. I'm very likely to be Trump delegation chairman of Virginia in 2020. I don't want to run against Michael Bloomberg. I would rather run against any of these other candidates. So I hope you lose, but I'm here to give you equal time because you got 2,500 people in the field. I don't want to compete with that. Do you know that at the height of the Trump primary campaign, this was in 2016, right at the apex, right when we were going into Super Tuesday, March 1st, 2016, we had, get this, the entire campaign had 54 paid staff across the country, and we had just added 20. We had 30. We had added 20. You guys got like 2,200. You think I want to go up against that? No way. I'd rather run against Biden. So
yeah, but you had the big mo. You had the big mo, though, big momentum and a sense of where the public was. That makes a big difference right now. That makes a big difference, and I think we have that as well. Hopefully, we can harness that energy.
All right, Mayor Steve Benjamin. Hey, stay on the line. I got to get your contact info because when this is over, we have to have you back. I love your perspective, and we don't want Bloomberg to win. I don't want to run against him in Virginia. Too hard. Stay on the line for that, Mayor Steve Benjamin.